Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're gonna do a little quick video recapping. Yes, we're gonna have to upload the other day's video, which I meant to upload, which is our NBA trade deadline, was probably tomorrow or whatever. But a little while today, I have school and work, so Tuesdays and Thursdays are very problematic for me. Henry's about to hop on, and we're going to do a quick talk about Joel Embiid and Karl-Anthony Towns having historic nights last night. Karl-Anthony Towns doing it a loss, where Chris Finch said it was immature basketball, was an interesting thing to see. And then, of course, Joel Embiid dropping 70 like it was nothing. And that's the crazy part about all of this is that, what was it, 62 we had from Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns had, 62, I believe it was, right? Yeah, 62 in a loss, and then Joel Embiid had 70 in a win. Joel Embiid's not eligible for, or is he still eligible? I think he's not eligible anymore, but it's pretty crazy to think about how last night in the NBA turned out. But damn, it'll be a night that people will remember for years. If you're a Timberwolves fan like myself, insane game that we just took away. How do you score 62 in a loss? That's my biggest thing. I don't know how you do it, but hey, Minnesota always finds a way to lose games. So what can I say? Okay. What can I say? We are a team that always finds a way to lose. I'm just milking this until we get our mans over here over Mr. Henry. Now, the whole thing with what we're seeing
here.
What is going on, buddy?
The man's is here, and I have an answer to the last question.
What?
You lose a game with 62 points by driving right into 3 to 4 Charlotte defenders repeatedly for about 20 possessions, and then Scary Terry and Miles Bridges.
Did you see Chris Finch's presser?
No.
He was just like, we played immature basketball. He was like, immature. We disrespected the game. And I felt like he was talking holistically. And then someone asked him, he's like, "Oh, did you think Karl-Anthony Towns was chasing? I think he was record chasing or shot chasing. Basically, just saying, he stopped playing like actual team basketball. And he was just like one track mind, like tunnel vision. And he said, "Yeah, I think Carl." So it's pretty. I think it's pretty funny. And dude, basketball and X. Basketball and X just quote tweeted my tweet, or like my interview.
Who's basketball on X?
Have you not seen? They're like the new, like an NBA Central is like the big news aggregator for Twitter. Mm-hmm. Basketball on X is like the new guy in town that's like been picking up traction because he's a lot quicker. And he like does everybody. Okay. Like literally, he's basically the me version of Twitter. And like, he just fucking put on, he has 4,000 only, but he just started, like this came out like maybe a month or two after within the last 6 months. You know what I mean? When X became X. But he just put me on. By the way, if you're watching this, go check out at hoopshype.com my newest article, a little plug right there about Marcin Gortat. But what you're saying, what did you think of last night's game? First, let's talk Timberwolves. What a fucking shit show to lose that.
Yeah, Cat was certainly not even tunnel vision nearly as much as just like delusional, thinking that he would go and get buckets and clamoring for fouls when he wasn't being fouled. Just like very, very foolish play. But that's also on Ant. Like, go get your own buckets. Ant wasn't impactful on offense. And no Mike Conley removed the only veteran that would have been like, all right, hey, let's not do this, Cat. And so instead you had like Nikhil Alexander-Walker just kind of feeding into it. Gobert is not going to do anything. And kudos to Charlotte. Charlotte stuck around and hit some shots, and they were pretty undersized, and they hung in there.
So I didn't realize I muted myself. So when I looked at this game, Mike Conley didn't play because, Mike Conley had that fresh ass jacket. And we saw in this game against the Hornets, we lose by 3 points. crazy enough, Paul, not Paul, but LaMelo Ball wasn't even the most impactful guy for Charlotte. Okay, it was the freaking Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller show. And out here, the problem was Karl-Anthony Towns. Yeah, he scored 62, but like his teammates kind of just forgot how to play basketball. Nickeil Alexander was the second leading scorer at 18. I think that was the bigger problem. He had no help. Everyone was just like, we're just gonna let Carl do this.
Yeah, which certainly Ant needs to step up. But who else? I guess Nas, but Nas isn't really going to self-create. Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
Who else is besides Ant? That's like really a pitfall of this team, you could say.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting to see how this team. Okay, this was a night that Jaden McDaniels, or who should have showed up? Anthony Edwards had 9 points. When was it that you said? I know he had 11 assists, but what was it you said he was scoreless at half or some shit like that? I forgot.
Yeah, he was scoreless into the third.
Into the third. Okay, going into the third.
And like midway through the third, damn near. Yeah.
And maybe he needs another year, or maybe this trait's never going to develop. Where I've talked about it before, where I love Anthony Edwards. I'm a Timberwolves. Sorry, my dog I'm gonna have to change my fucking shorts because she got dirt on them and they're white. But the whole thing is with Anthony Edwards. As much as I love him and he has the ability to be the best player in the league and he throws it in flashes, but the thing that keeps him from being there is I think it's a mental block where I don't know if it's a maturity thing or an accountability thing. There are nights where he goes ghost. He like disappears. And I don't know if it's because he's too okay with taking a back seat. I don't know. It's frustrating, at least in my opinion, because he's the type of guy that when he wants to, you can take over any and every game.
Well, and it's just not as if the Ant-Cat pick and roll isn't going to be conducive to good looks for both of them, right? And then that's not what they go to down the stretch. It doesn't make much sense.
Well, Karl-Anthony Towns does not act like he's the best fucking pick and roller. Honestly, why not?
He can just pop, right?
Well,
and if he's going to pop and he's going crazy, then Ant should be able to get buckets.
Well, Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't have the most power. I was about to say the easier pick and roll guy is Rudy Gobert. He doesn't even have to fucking jump. People don't remember the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, where he was literally just always just freaking. He just doesn't even need to jump. He just grabs the ball and throws it down.
For sure. Even then, he's not the greatest at that, though.
Yeah, but like I think he's better than Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns has just never been a P&R guy because he wants to instead of pick and roll, Carl wants to pick and pop.
Right,
Carl,
which is the same thing from a metric standpoint.
Yeah, but you rather with how big and like they were playing like Charlotte. So when I know they have Nick Richards and Mark Williams, I just think
which I don't think either of them played last night.
No, it was their center last night was PJ.
They were so small.
And Mensa, yeah. So it doesn't make sense why they just didn't feed the rack. And let's just switch over to Joel Embiid just because we got to wrap up. Joel was the better one. Joel's ineligible for awards, right?
Not yet. He can miss, I believe, 7 more games.
7 more. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know if I'd give him the if he misses 7 games, what I'm getting at, would you still give him an award after this performance? I saw people trending on Twitter about that. They're saying, oh, what if he plays 60 games? Shouldn't he be like the exception?
Well, you cannot be the exception. There are no exceptions. He would in fact be the first precedent-setting example. And I would say, yeah, he's having an awesome season. He's my current MVP favorite. It's obviously close, but I would lean, yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, he's getting buckets and he's facilitating. Jokic isn't quite at the peak efficiency that we saw last year, but he's back up to 70% true shooting. So he's right there as well. But you can tell that he's coasting slightly more at times.
No, I agree. I just think a big problem with not Joel Embiid. Yeah, I guess it is Joel Embiid. Okay, and the Sixers is regular. Like, we've never seen him have this performance in the playoffs. I'm sorry, Joel. when the lights shine the hardest, he doesn't do this.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, was it because of Victor Wembanyama? Do you feel good you did this against the Spurs?
I mean, he is just automatic with the free throw line jumper. He was absolutely automatic. Yesterday.
It was looking like me at the rec. I'm kidding, but I am automatic from the free throw.
Hey, that's your shot diet.
That is the shot. I know you because you always yell at me. That's my that you're like, oh, it's such an inefficient shot, but it's wet. It's wet. The elbow, the free throw. You get me into if I get into the free throw range, dude. I don't even. You can be on me. I know like the muscle memory of just how to get there.
Rec ball. That's an efficient look. I'll change my.
Definitely. A lot of the times, shots that wouldn't be efficient looks like honestly the most inefficient shot in rec basketball is usually the 3-point shot because you're like most guys don't know how to bounce it, so like the ball will go anywhere. So you have to run to chase the rebound. You rather guys shoot layups or mid rangers so the balls rebound because people don't have like usually people shoot like straight when you play rec. They don't shoot like an NBA player like that, so the bounce is a lot more awry. And so you're like, you just tell people like, please shoot inside so I don't have to fucking sprint like across the court to get a rebound.
But you're right that the question does like loom of, all right, will Embiid ever do this in the playoffs? Will he ever like blow up on teams on a nightly basis? Because like theoretically that should be tough to stop. Teams should give him that 16-foot jumper all the time. And he should be able to boom repeatedly.
No, I agree.
So it is interesting. I thought he was pretty sharp yesterday just for that fact alone.
I think the bigger thing with Joel Embiid is Tyrese, I think, has that guy in him, but Tobias Harris is a guy who also has a tendency to disappear. I mean, I also do believe that Nick Nurse is like the right coach. I think this performance is all dandy. I think it's fun. It was a great thing to watch. My only, like I said, gripe was that is this like we need to see this in the playoff for it to actually hold some significance, you know?
Yep.
And that's where I'm at. So I don't know. With more and more time, I think we'll see the development of Joel Embiid depend on if he can take advantage of the moments like this. Okay. And not like this, but in the playoffs. My apology. That's what I was getting at. Like this, but in the playoffs. And I think that's the defining factor because if he can do it in the playoffs, it's kind of young. He just needs to get the monkey off his back, and then people would actually give more credit to these performances. I think that's the only thing holding him back.
Is this the worst supporting cast he has had in the past?
It's probably the best.
Fuck. What? Jeez, bro. I don't know about that.
From a standpoint, best.
How?
From a fit. He has the most floor spacing. He has guys that don't necessarily need the ball in his hands. He has the most defenders in his life. He has Batum, Covington, both great borderline all defensive defenders.
No.
Especially, yes, in their prime, yes. And like
dude, no. We got to look at it right now only. I like Batum. Batum has been good, but Covington is like solid.
And what's cool, and like their regular season stats won't show when they're playoffs. I trust Batum and Covington. They've always shown up in defensively for teams. I mean, they've both been on teams that have made deep runs in the playoffs. And then, so I personally think from a skill set standpoint, this is the best fit. You have Tyrese Maxey, who is like the Jamal Murray for Joel Embiid, doesn't need the ball in his hands, but can also play well when he has the ball, can run the second unit. When you got D'Anthony Milton off the bench, you got yourself, as well as besides D'Anthony Milton off the bench, you have yourself Paul Reed, who's got a Swiss Army knife. He hasn't done much, but there have been some flashes. You have Kelly Oubre, who's a bona fide scorer. You got a defensive stud in Pat Bev back there. Okay, you still got yourself Tobias Harris to be another scorer, and if you really need to break the glass, you have Marcus Morris, who I don't really think is anything, but if Tobias were to get hurt, Marcus is a good backup for him. I think Marcus is more of a trade chip. But besides that, yeah, like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-man rotation for the playoffs that I feel pretty solid about. That like they've all played in playoff games. All those 8 of those dudes that I just mentioned, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Batum, Covington, Tyrese Maxey, Pat Bev, Kelly Oubre, and DeAnthony Milton. And I think Milton might be the only one. Everybody else has scored average double-digit points in their careers and in the playoffs. So I feel confident that everybody on this team can score buckets. Everybody on this team can score double digits, and that they have the versatility. Because maybe it's the least star-studded team that Joel Embiid's been on, but it's a team that gives him the most space. It gives him the team that gives him the best team defense, and he has the best coach. And I think just from 1 to 8, it's probably the most durable and consistent team he's ever had around him, where there isn't that many questions. You know what you're going to get.
Wow, this will be interesting then, because I think this cast is going to flame out in the playoffs.
Really?
I don't see anything that any of these guys are going to bring from a dynamic standpoint outside of I like Batum because he is the one that is really sturdy on both ends. But yeah, I don't see who else is going to bring anything dynamic of that cast you just named on a consistent basis.
Yeah, no,
Which it'll be interesting. Maybe they will just be like defensively sturdy enough because they are durable. But man, I just don't.
I just think they're versatile. I think they have a lot of versatility. I think their weakest position is they don't have a backup big for Joel Embiid, so they're going to be very reliant in the playoffs on Joel Embiid playing like 44 minutes a night. So hopefully in the buyout market they can get a guy who could play 8-10 minutes a night in the playoffs. But besides that, yeah, I'm like pretty confident that like this is, the best, most versatile team. It just fits what Nick Nurse needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you got to think about
you're
this.
definitely going to see it. I was going to say you're definitely going to see Joel get taxed, and you're going to see Maxey be the guy in his first playoff run ever. He's going to get taxed also, and then who else is there? Anthony Melton's one of the worst finishers in the league. Like, who are your second side creators?
Well,
and you can trust Kelly Oubre sometimes, but
well, you're forgetting this is a Nick Nurse a team. So Nick Nurse only in the playoffs runs a 5 or 6 man rotation, and he gears up his guys. So if they're doing this in the regular season, playing these minutes, they're used to it. And Nick Nurse, that's how he builds his team. You got to be able to play the full fucking game. If you can't do it, then we're not going to win a championship. If they can't do it, Nick is just going to tell Daryl Morey to trade Tyrese Maxey and trade the other guys. So everybody knows if they want to win a ring, the way that Nick Nurse coaches this game, it's going to be a 6-7 man rotation at most. Okay, you're taking a 30-second breather at most in the games, and that's how he wants it. Best players are going to be on the floor for most of the game. Best players are going to win you the game, tired or not. That's how it is with basketball in general, especially in the playoffs. Rotations get smaller and people are tired, and it's just a shootout. And the Sixers are built for that because they have 2 guys who are shootout capable, and then they fill the rest of the roster with defenders. Because if you think about it, one locked in, Covington, Oubre, Beverly, Milton are all 4 very good, or not like above average defenders, plus defenders in the NBA, even if they aren't in their primes anymore. When they're locked in playoff basketball, they are better than the average defender in the NBA.
Yeah, maybe this will be the best playoff 2-way performance we'll see from Oubre and Covington in a while. So those would be swing factors. It's possible.
Yeah. All right. That's basically it. I'm gotta go to work or school. So cheers. Thanks for coming on, guys. I'm gonna go. Peace.